A new rumor suggests Samsung might be abandoning the S Pen from the Galaxy S26 series, but there's actually a really good reason for it. The Pixel 7 series was just banned in one of Google's biggest markets, and part of it was because a judge thought Google's legal team were being and we have some benchmarks for the processor that will appear in Nothing's next flagship phone, and the numbers look I'm C. Scott Brown, and it's time for a quick roundup of the biggest tech news that you need to know about. One of the most distinctive aspects of the Galaxy S Ultra series is the S Pen, the little stylus that slots into the phone. This year, with the Galaxy S25 Ultra, Samsung made its fans pretty upset when it removed a core capability of the S Pen, which is Bluetooth support. This nerfed some of the S Pen's features, including its ability to act as a remote shutter button for the camera. This led me to believe that Samsung was testing the waters for removing the S Pen entirely by slowly taking features away. I wrote an article about all this. It's in the description. Now, we have two new rumors that only bolster my theory. First, the next book-style foldable from Samsung that we're tentatively calling the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is rumored to lack the digitizer layer that would support traditional S Pen input. What I mean by that is that the way a traditional S Pen interacts with the phone itself is through a layer that lives underneath the display. The rumor suggests this layer won't be on the Galaxy Z Fold 7. So whatever S Pen you currently have will, in theory, not work on the Galaxy Z Fold 7. The second part of this rumor is that the Galaxy S26 Ultra, due out next year, might also lack this digitizer layer. Once again, this would mean no S Pen out there right now would work on the next Ultra phone. It also heavily implies that there wouldn't be an S Pen slot on the Galaxy S26 Ultra. So let me pause here for Samsung fans to scream into the void. Everybody done screaming? Okay, so does this mean there will be no S Pen support on these phones? The good news here is that S Pen support is still totally possible for both devices. It's just that the S Pen itself would need to be different. It would need to be an active stylus, one with a battery and much more tech inside to make it work with phones that don't have a digitizer layer in the display. The bad news here is that this hypothetical S Pen would almost certainly be too big to slot into the Galaxy S26 Ultra. That doesn't matter for the Galaxy Z Fold 7 since no foldable has ever had an S Pen slot, but Ultra fans who are addicted to having an S Pen on hand at all times would need to buy a case or some other system for holding the larger stylus. Okay, so the rumor suggests the Galaxy Z Fold 7 will need a new kind of S Pen and the Galaxy S26 Ultra might not have a slottable S Pen. This is bad news, but there must be a reason Samsung is doing this, right? I mean, Samsung isn't going to make a phone that removes features its customers actually care about just to chase some sort of trend it's concocted out of thin air, right? That would be just ridiculous, wouldn't it? Well, there actually could be quite a few potential benefits if Samsung goes forward with this. The phones could be thinner or have bigger batteries, or even both at the same time. They could also support magnetic charging since the S Pen and the digitizer layer on the display don't play nicely with magnets. The price could also come down.
That's what I'm talking about!
Actually, no, scratch that. I'm sure that's not going to happen. I mean, Samsung would likely be saving a lot of money in these situations, so it could lower prices, but we all know it won't. The bottom line with this one is that S Pen fans will likely be unhappy about upcoming Samsung phone launches, but people who don't care about the S Pen will likely be happy to see new designs with thinner chassis. So, which side of the debate do you fall on? Let me know in the comments, and why not like and subscribe while you're down there. Our next story focuses on certain Pixel phones being banned in one of Google's most important markets, Japan. In Japan, Google Pixel phones are in the top 3 as far as market share. According to industry estimates, Japan actually beat the United States for Pixel shipments in Q1 of 2023. So, this is a huge market. The phones being banned are those in the Pixel 7 series. What happened here is that a company called Pantech sued Google over an alleged patent infringement. I am not going to go into the specifics of the patent because it will bore everyone to tears, and I want you to stick around for the third story in this video. It will involve some benchmark comparisons, really fun stuff. Be sure to hold out for them. But I'll just summarize and say the Pantech patents involve LTE connectivity. So, Pantech sues Google over this.
So sue me. No, don't sue me. That's the opposite of the point that I'm trying to make.
And the whole thing goes to trial. Earlier this week, a judge sided with Pantech and declared that the Pixel 7 series is unsellable in Japan.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
The kicker here is that part of the reason the judge made this decision was not because of Google's arguments in its defense, but because Google's legal team weren't being team players. According to ET News, the judge cited Google's, and this is a quote, insincere and uncooperative attitude as being a factor in their decision. Let this be a lesson to you all. If you're ever in court for allegedly infringing on a patent, try not to be a jerk about it. It could work against you.
He started it. He ate my pizza on purpose. He knows I ate sausage and olives and
Look what
onions
you did, you little jerk!
Anyway, you're probably thinking, hey, the Pixel 7 series is old news, so who cares if Japan can't sell it anymore? Well, Pantech is also claiming patent infringement on the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 9 series. And now that the company has this one win, it makes it more likely that it could gain another. If I were Google's legal team, I would be frantically trying to fix this mess before it spirals out of control. But also, just for the record, Pantech is a patent troll, and I hate patent trolls. Google lost this round, and it sucks, but I don't want you to think I'm rooting for Pantech here. Pantech only exists to make money by suing other companies. It's the lowest of the low. Here's hoping Google is able to figure a way out of this. The final story today is all about the Snapdragon 8S Gen 4. Ugh. I still hate saying that stupid name. If you'll remember, I talked about this processor in last week's video as it had been revealed to be the chipset that will power the Nothing Phone 3. I'll link the video up here if you want to check it out. The Snapdragon 8S Gen 4 also appears in the Poco F7, which just launched this week. We got our hands on it and ran it through a bunch of benchmarks. This should give us an idea of how the Nothing Phone 3 will fare when we get it and put it through the same benchmarks. Granted, there might be some differences due to hardware placement and cooling and all sorts of other stuff, but at least this gives you an idea of what to expect. So, right off the bat, you'll notice that the Poco F7 clobbers the Pixel 9a, which has the Tensor G4 chipset inside. That's not unexpected, given how much better Snapdragon processors are compared to Tensor. Things don't go as well when you put the Poco F7 against the Galaxy S24 Plus though, as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy handily beats the Snapdragon 8S Gen 4. Where things go really poorly though is with the Galaxy S25 Plus. The Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy absolutely destroys the Snapdragon 8S Gen 4 here. Like, it's not even a contest. It's like that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Indy just shoots the sword guy. Man, that movie rules. I need to rewatch that soon. Anyway, what does this all mean for the Nothing Phone 3? Like I said, it's common for benchmarks to differ across phones even if they have the same chipset inside, so we can't draw any conclusions until we actually have the Nothing Phone 3. But for right now, you should expect it to perform at around the same capacity as a Galaxy S24 and come nowhere near the performance of a Galaxy S25. I'll leave it up to you to decide if that's a good or bad thing. That is it for this roundup. If you want to dive deeper into these stories, I have included links below to the original sources on these topics. Remember to like and subscribe so you'll be notified as soon as the next roundup goes live. See you all soon.